I'm a minute and a half early. I hope you'll forgive me. Here, let's look at the trains for a minute and a half. Good evening, all. How's the sound? Can you hear me okay? Hey, Jim. Thanks for being here tonight. Good evening, all. How's the sound? Oh, wait. I got to turn it down over here. Hang on. I got to turn my monitor down. Otherwise, we'll get feedback, and I'll hear myself talking out of one ear while I talk over here. It's very confusing. Hi, Gerald, Norman, Mike, Jim, Ken, Dave, Gary. It's nice to see you here tonight. Everybody, DJ, all of you that I met out at Gary Beatty's place. It's great to meet all of you in person. A lot of you, anyway. So glad you made the trip out to Riverside to see all the layouts. And wasn't that a fantastic little show? I mean, I don't travel usually. That's the reason I have the studio. I say, people want to see my stuff, you come to see me. But man, that's one thing I will always travel for. I'll make the trip out there. I'll drive the 6.5, 7 hours out there to do it and lug my stuff out there because it's always so fun and so inspirational to see what everybody's been up to, you know, I just love the ON30 mini layouts. I love all the creativity and the storytelling. Thank you very much, Gary. Yeah, if you build it, they will come. I had such a great time getting together with everybody and hanging out and just, you know, it was wonderful. And my video on the Mini Festa Fiesta 2023 will be coming out for everybody, tomorrow evening, around 5 o'clock, I think. Or I might premiere it a little bit earlier than that because I have to be up here at 5 o'clock. So sometime tomorrow, it's going to come out. A lot of my people on Patreon have already seen it, had a chance to check it out. But I'll be premiering it on the regular channel tomorrow night. I'm also working on a video of the same event, but more focused on how I moved the Gruesome Gulch layout, how I broke it down and packed it up and moved it and set it up at the other end, then broke it down again, then moved it back here. And that will include the open studio tomorrow night, which is our Halloween celebration. We're celebrating early on the 28th, so I've got everything set up here for Halloween. We're gonna have trick-or-treats and open studio tomorrow, the 28th, is gonna be open studio night. It's going to be from 4 to 7, and everything in the studio, all the layouts will be operating in night mode. So all the lights will be on, all the flickering lanterns and everything on the Thunder Mesa layout. Everything will be in night operations mode. The blue moonlight. It'll, you know, that kind of Pirates of the Caribbean look. So it's going to be really fun, and I hope if you're in the neighborhood, you can stop by. It'd be great to see you. Hey, Calvin, the Fiesta looks amazing from the vids. I wish I could have made it. You were missed, my friend. I missed you, and a lot of people mentioned, hey, where's Calvin? Yeah, you were missed. I wish you could have been there. You did a fraction as good as the first one. It must have been incredible. It was great. There was a lot of great stuff, a lot of great new stuff this year. It was much bigger than before. Again, thank you to Gary and Colleen for putting up with all of us train nerds invading your home, using your bathroom, you know, eating your sandwiches, and hanging out in your garage in your backyard. I really appreciate it. Yeah, Kevin Spady and Sean Williams, wonderful Wandering Spruce layout was there that they've just built in the last year. And they made an enormous amount of progress on this thing in 1 year. And that was great to see. And of course, the pickled parrot, Gary Beatty's pickled parrot was, I just loved every inch of it. It was fantastic. So many great stuff. Hey, dinner with Dave. Where's Lindley? I don't know. It's not my turn to watch him. Whose turn is it? Lindley was there at the show on. He might be sick of us all by now. He was there at the show last week. I wanted to ask, who's sick of the Gruesome Gulch layout yet? Are you tired of it yet? Because I feel like it's been all Gruesome Gulch all the time for the past, 6 months. Let's see. Let me catch up on the comments here. Calvin says, I was 100 miles away at a big family gig. Otherwise, I would have been there. Hopefully next time I will have a layout to haul down. You don't have to have a layout. Just, bring yourself and maybe a model or something to run on the last, it's great. Hey, Sean! All the usual suspects are here. I was just talking about you. Were your ears burning? Gary says, our pleasure. As Manley said, it was a fun gathering of old and new friends. Absolutely. Jim brought a layout. Jim Manley brought his Smell It From Here 018 layout, which grew out of the outhouse diorama that he brought in 2022. And I was, like, that's awesome. I'm so proud of you for getting something running, because the last time you showed me anything like that, it was definitely not in a state that it was going to be running. You got it running, you brought it, it looked great, it operated all day long, and it was hilarious. I appreciate seeing that too. It was the crappiest in show. See, that's one of the things I like about this get-together, because it's much more a get-together of friends and like-minded modelers than a show. It's not. There's no awards. There's no contests. There's no sales tables and swap meets and stuff like that. It's just like, hey, let's just get together, and it's much more a sharing of ideas and inspiration, which I really, really enjoy. It's just fantastic. I love it. Sean says, Gary and Caroline are simply the best, most kind and generous hosts that you can imagine. Absolutely, I agree. Hi, Paul. Love the Gruesome Gulch. Thank you. John Clark says, no way. I'm assuming you mean you're not sick of the Gruesome Gulch yet? Good, because there's going to be one more video coming on the Gruesome Gulch, as I mentioned, which is going to be the setup to take down. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it yet. It's the transporting, moving the gulch, moving it to from place to place. You're welcome, Jim. Let's see. Dave Van says, wish I wasn't 2,500 miles away. I wish you weren't too. I've had people contact me and say, hey, you're going to bring the layout out to Pennsylvania or someplace like that. And it's like, I'm just going to put this out right there right now. I'm not a big traveler. Yes, it is a portable layout, and I'm building another portable layout. But I'm probably not going to be hauling this thing around to other shows. I'm probably going to sell it, as a matter of fact. The Gruesome Gulch is likely going to go up for sale after the end of this month, or around between now and the first of the year. So maybe the person that buys it will want to haul it around to shows. I don't know, but I'm not going to be hauling it around to a bunch of shows. It was built, for the fun of building it, for the pleasure of building it, for the excitement and the joy that it brought to other people. It was built as a project, kind of like the old Model Railroader project layouts that they would do in the magazine, and they would do a series of articles. It's like, well, that was my same idea. I would do this and do a series of videos. That's what it was for. And now it needs to go and make way for something else, because it's taking up a lot of room. Oh, let's see. That's what, yeah, so the next owner can put it on tour. Paul says, I can haul it to your place. For a price, I will do it. If the price is right, I will take it to your place. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to set it up and take it down. Like once a year, that's cool. But I don't want to join the circus. I used to do art fairs, where I would go and set up my whole booth in these art shows with a bunch of other artists, and, the kind you see in the park and places like that. We would do that. And it's like being in the circus. You set it up and take it down. You're out there for a weekend, and you sell your paintings and prints and cards and whatever, and then you pack it all up and you leave and you go to the next town. I did that for a while, and no. Don't want to do it again. Uh, decomposing. Jason Lay, you can call it decomposing, takedown, resurrection, reassembly. That's not a bad idea. I'm not sure how that would work with the YouTube algorithm, what they would do. They'd probably get a lot of views. Ravenson Express. I don't know how far it is from my side, but there's an ocean between and no bridge. Yeah, that'll stop you. Yeah, DKS. I did N track for years. Exactly. But you know, a little module. This thing's a whole show. That's the thing about this thing. It's not just a layout or a module. It's a whole show. There's like all kinds of lighting effects and sound and animation. You see the videos, you know. And so all of that has to be set up and taken down. It doesn't take that long. It probably takes an hour to take it down and set it up with a friend to help carry it and move it and stuff. It takes 2 people to lift the thing, not because it's heavy, just because it's unwieldy. I mean, I could lift it by myself, but I'd probably break it. So you know, 1 person on each end. Let's see. Mow Jobs says, looks like there was a fair amount of drag racing crossover at Gary's. Probably see several of you again this weekend at the model car show in Pomona. I don't know about that. Perhaps. Debbie Gibson, what? I am clutching my pearls. I surely missed the dearly departed. Yeah. I'll build something else and it'll be cool too. Thanks to Gary for suggesting that, Mike McCauley. It was great talking to you out there, by the way, too. Great to meet you in person and talk to you. Gary suggested setting up the black curtained little corner over there so it could be partially in the darkness because, let's face it, you know, a spook house, a ghost show works the best in the dark. So we had it, you know, it was in its own little dark corner, but you'll see all that in the video when it's coming out. Lynn McCurdy, I did think about you while at the fair up the street. How are things in Ridgecrest, Lynn? David West, the GG was a great series of videos that really show the steps and creativity it takes to bring the layout together. Thank you. That was the idea. I wanted to show something from beginning to end, from concept sketches and planning models all the way through to the final product. I'm very proud of it. You know, I'm sick of working on it. I'm not sick of working on it. I want to, let me rephrase that. I would like to work on other things. I have a lot of other projects on the Thunder Mesa layout and Bandit Canyon, which I started around Christmas time last year, that I would like to get to. But I'm ready to move on to the next challenges. This was great. I loved it. I love looking at it. It was a lot of fun. But I'm ready to move on to the next thing. Ridgecrest was hot. Tomorrow we go back to take it apart and hear frost warnings, right? Welcome to fall. Gary says, musicians, race cars, and model trains, for some reason they all cross over. Yeah, exactly. Let's not start on the drummer jokes, though. Let's see what I missed here. I think I got it. Yeah. Okay. Good, all cut up. So what else is new? I mentioned the next couple of videos, right? Which is going to be the Festa Fiesta. Some of you have already seen if you're on my Patreon or members of the channel. I took a little break from the Workbench Wednesdays, which was not planned. It was, a part of it was planned, kind of like the other thing. I went on vacation and then I got sick when I got back. But the Workbench Wednesdays are returning, and the next one will come out on Wednesday. Strangely enough, next Wednesday. That'll be November. Oh my God, it's almost November. The first Wednesday in November. So we're kind of getting back onto the regular schedule. Like tonight, this is my third Wednesday live stream. We're having it on the last Friday. So So I'm glad some of you could make it. So the next Workbench Wednesday is going to be kind of a subject that I wanted to tackle for a while, because I'm often I get approached and asked a lot of questions by people who are new to the hobby, or who particularly want to try ON30 modeling. Like they see all the stuff that we're doing, like all the stuff at Gary's open house or what I'm doing here, and they get excited about it. They go, oh, how do I get into that? How do I do that? So I'm doing a video of the, because you know, the algorithm loves the top 10 list. 10 things you need to know. Is that cynical? 10 things, you know, it could have been 11 things or 12 things, but 10 things you need to know before you build an ON30 layout. 10 things you should know. 10 questions that should be answered. So that'll be fun. That's gonna be coming out pretty soon. Wednesday, as a matter of fact. Well, you know, you'll miss videos, you know, and that's a concern too, is because I know a lot of people subscribe to the channel just to follow the Gruesome Gulch. You know, so the next project better be good, or people will stop watching. But you know, I can't think about that. You can't make your decisions about what to work on based on that. You have to just follow the muse and go where the creativity takes you, and you know. By the way, I have no idea what my next project's going to be. I am open to suggestions. I won't necessarily take them, but I'm open to hearing them. If you guys have any ideas on what I should do next, a lot of you have been following the Thunder Mesa. You know what's finished and what's not finished. Is there a project on there you'd like to see me tackle between now and you know, the first of the year? Let me know. You know. I'll look it over, because you might have thought of something that I didn't think of, and I'll go, hey, that's a really good idea. That happens a lot. I should do that. David West, I love your content and found your channel kind of by accident while looking for ideas for building a narrow gauge locomotive for Lego trains. I have been hooked ever since. Thank you so much for watching. It is lovely to have you here. Thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate it. It really does help. Calvin says, I think that's a great idea for people coming into the hobby, since this isn't the days of the favorite spot at $100 to get an engine plus cars. Exactly. That's one of the things I talk about, Calvin, in the top 10 things is where to find stuff. Because that's, people ask me, where do you find locomotives? You have to be really resourceful. Especially if you're modeling an ON30, much more so than if you're just doing HO. Nothing against HO or Zscale, but there's a much larger availability of equipment and models and just everything in those more common scales than there is in those scales or ON30. So you have to be really resourceful. It is still, I talk about it in the video, I don't want to give the whole thing away because then you won't watch, but it's still very much a kit bashers and scratch builders scale, and which I hope it always is, because you know that's what makes it really fun for me, is to look at an HO model and say, how can I, what can I do with that to make it into an ON30 model? So yeah, I do talk about that, the availability of resources, where to find locomotives. I mean, and also of course that there didn't used to be any ready to run equipment in ON30. It started with guys just bashing HO stuff into ON30, and that is always still an option. The ready to run stuff is out there if you can find it. A lot of it is available on eBay and resale sites, Facebook Marketplace, swap meets, places like that. And of course on eBay the prices keep going up, but you know what I mean. Let's see. Brad Martin, I built a small 4x6 layout with the idea of selling or repurposing the track and equipment. However, my group of operators liked operating so well over my larger layout, so I'm keeping it. That's great. 4x6 is a good size. The original Thunder Mesa was 3x6, and I kind of miss those days when it was just 3x6, because then the end was always inside. Oh, I'll finish it in another year. A lot of people ask me at the show at Gary's place how long this took me, and I figured it out. It's 30 videos, and each one of the videos takes about a week. So rough calculation, it took me 30 weeks to do this, to build the Gruesome Gulch. That's 30 weeks spread over 2 years. And that's something else I talk about in the next Workbench Wednesday video, is how long? How long does it take? Because some people think, hey, you know, you put a loop of track on some plywood and you're done. Well, you could be done doing that, but that you're missing a huge part of the hobby if that's all you're doing. So yeah, I talk about how long it actually takes to do stuff. But so yeah, 30 weeks, which is not bad. Let's see. Bob's not here, I can bash on N-Scale. I'm not gonna bash on N-Scale. I have nothing but love and respect in my heart for scales of all kinds. Except for Z. To hell with those Zscale guys. What is wrong with them? That stuff is way too small. They're a very small minority, so I can bash on them. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't get in the comments and call me terrible things because I said that about Zscale. Zscale is fine. They're all good. Let's see. Falling behind here. Jason, a project idea for Thunder Mesa. Projection mapping the sky and the water, the elements. That's a wonderful idea. Something I've talked with James Powell about off and on. Talked about it with him when he was here last for a visit. And the problem always comes down to where to put the projectors. Because that's, you know, you either got to put them like directly across or some way with mirrors so that it projects onto the thing. So placing the projectors is always the issue. So a lot of times it's something that really needs to be planned from the very beginning. And when I started the Thunder Mesa layout, that kind of technology was in its infancy or didn't exist at all yet. So it was not planned, you know, for that. But it could be retrofitted in here and there. I just have to figure out where to put the projectors. That could happen. That's not a bad idea. Not at all. I like it. Calvin says, even with the rise of 3D printing, it can still be a challenge to find rolling stock chassis. Like my yellow box cabs are cool, but if you can't find a Davenport, exactly. And you know, some of these guys, Railway Recollections and the Cumberland shops and stuff, they come out with these really cool kits or bodies or shells to transform these locomotives, and then the manufacturer starts making the locomotives. And so you're once again, you're in the swap meet mode. You got to go hunting for the things in order to work. But hey, you know, that's all part of the fun. You have to be resourceful. DK Austin, it's nice to not follow the crowd and to be considered a member of the dark side of model railroading. That's right. Come over to the dark side. We have cookies. This is the dark side. It's the fun side. You know, I look at it this way. People who are into ON30 and what I call story-based modeling, whatever they want to call it, have not forgotten that model railroading is supposed to be fun. There was a time there, particularly in the 90s, especially in the model railroad press, where I got really turned off to a lot of it because it was all so serious. It was like treating it like it was rocket science. We're not curing cancer here, folks. We're playing with model trains. It's supposed to be fun. Yeah, absolutely. And so I really appreciate people that get that and have not forgotten that this is supposed to be fun. T-scale makes Z-scale look huge. Yeah, TT scale too. Ryan Gallagher says, yeah, I tried building HON2 with Z. What the heck was I thinking? That's an interesting combination. I tried NN3 once. I had one of those little Gold Rush models kits, white metal kits that would transform a Markland Zscale 260 into Colorado and Southern NN3 narrow gauge mogul. I never finished it. I ended up selling it off. It was too tiny. So I've always been interested in narrow gauge. And back when I was in N-Scale, I go, oh, NN3 came out, started. I was like, I could do it in N-Scale, NN3. People that work at NN3, my hat's off to you, man. Salute. That's definitely tweezer gauge. It's like Zscale, except you're scratch building and kit patching stuff. That's really hard. Lee Bedford, I found your channel while looking for scenery ideas for Warhammer 40,000. It was just after your first video by Grumble Gulch that I've been avidly watching ever since. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Lee, so much for watching. The check's in the mail. I appreciate it. I'm glad. I get a lot of war gamers or tabletop gamer people, not war gamers, but tabletop gaming people follow the channel looking for scenery ideas and stuff like that. And I appreciate that. I realize that is a really fast growing hobby. Tabletop gaming is probably growing faster than model railroading. Yeah, this is kind of declining. Tabletop gaming is huge. Got a couple of guys just moved in upstairs in the building next door here at the complex, the art center, that are huge into tabletop gaming. Really nice guys. I need to get up to their place and see what's going on. Maybe during the next open studio, I'll head on up there. Gary says, I cannot agree with you more about model railroading should be fun. But that Porter behind you in a gruesome ghost looks like it's missing a few rivets on the sound. I'm missing a few rivets. I'm missing a few. That's the loose nut behind the wheel is the problem. Oh, I walked right into that one, Gary. Tim Clock, I know you don't want to sell kits anymore. You are correct, sir. It's not that it's just that it's not that I don't want to sell kits, it's that I don't want to ship kits. Fulfillment is the problem. But let me finish your answer. How about making ON30 small layouts to sell? That could be fun and profitable. I was talking to a friend about this. Well, that's, this is a small ON30 layout to sell. My things tend to get rather elaborate, even when they're small. I talked about doing some, like my Western buildings and stuff. But that I do for the layouts, but do them as little standalone dioramas, maybe in like a frame with a backdrop and everything that you could just hang on the wall. That flick a switch and the light comes on, so you can have that little bit of magic hanging on the wall in your house. I have thought about doing that. I would have to really look at it, see what the time would be involved in the materials and what I could reasonably sell them for, because I would definitely be making them to sell. So that is a thought that has occurred to me. Calvin says, I'm with you on that. I admire the crap out of people who do photorealistic stuff, but I also know kids like bright trains moving around. Kids do like bright trains. I like bright trains moving around. I like the kinetic energy. I like the motion. I'm just a little kid, or big kid. Yeah, but I like telling the story. It's all, once again, I know I sound like a broken record. It's all about the story you want to tell. You want to tell a realistic story about a prototype railroad on June 25th, 1952 in such and such location. That's great, do that. If you want to take bits and pieces from other railroads that you like and put them in a totally different location that you really like, then that's freelancing. That's storytelling too. It's all just storytelling. It's up to you whether you want it to be fact or fiction, a novel or a documentary. That's it. There's no profit in building a layout on Dave's level. You're right, because you could never get your time out of it. Like I said, 30 weeks on this thing, I'm not going to get my time out of this thing. It's worth whatever somebody will pay for it. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted on how much it's going to be. David West, I'm not sure what it's like anywhere else, but the ON30 Hawthorne Bachman locomotives seem to pop up a lot. Yeah, they do, like the Budweiser ones or the Coca-Cola ones, the ones with the fancy, yeah, the Christmas tree loop ones. They're out there. Those are pretty easy to find because they made thousands of those sets, thousands of them. So they have flooded the market. They're everywhere. They're easy to find, and they still make the 260. That was their first ON30 locomotive from Bachman, and they're still making it. So that is a great entry-level locomotive. It's not great for micro layouts because it's pretty much confined to 18-inch radius or larger. You might be able to get away with 16 or 17, but the coupler swing then becomes an issue and you end up derailing the cars behind it. So yeah, but anyway, yeah, those are still available. The Porters, the main thing that have become really hard to find. I remember when they were $45. 30 bucks. I think the first one I ever bought, I paid about 30 bucks for, and that was a lot. I was like, God, 30 bucks, that's expensive. But now they're going for 300 bucks or more on Evil Bay. Let's see. Jim says, wait until the tabletop gamers want trains in their games. It's coming. They will. You know, gotta have it. Let's see. Does this mean I'm too late for the ON18 ore cars? No, Calvin. They are available to members on the Thunder Mesa website. You can order them there. I thought you got some. I thought I sent you some. No, they're available. And the box cars are coming. That was the other thing I want to talk about. My website has not been updated in over a month since before I went on my trip because I still, thank you GoDaddy, I still cannot access the back end of my website. I cannot edit anything. Everything works. Everything functions. You can order stuff. The e-commerce all works. It's all secure. That's not a problem. The problem is there's some WordPress widget in there that's causing a problem, and I can't even access the back end to find out what the widget is. So I'm done with two things. I'm done with WordPress, which I've put up with for, you know, decades, and I'm done with GoDaddy. I'm going to be moving the whole shebang over to a new Squarespace website. I'm going to rebuild the website on Squarespace with the members area and e-commerce options for the members and stuff like that. But that's going to take a little bit of time. But be looking for that between now and the first of the year. That's going to happen. And so the box cars, the ON18 box cars, and the ON18 ore cars and stuff like that will be on there. Just for those of you who are not Patreon members and stuff like that, I'm sorry if you feel left out and they're like, hey, how come you only sell to those guys? And that's not really a way. What I don't want is for people to sign up and become members just to get those things, just to be able to order those things. That was not the goal. That's not the point. The goal was to be able to control the volume, to make it manageable for me to be able, so I can just like bring out one thing, say, okay, this is the new thing, and you know, since you guys are members, I'm going to offer it to you, and you know, I'll make X amount, and when they're gone, they're gone. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Brad Martin says, I like your bag of parts. It's a great starter for custom building for those of us that don't have laser cutters. Please add to your bag of parts offerings. Yeah, I'm going to, as soon as I get to, like I said, the website issues sorted out. Captain says, hey Dave, I built a 2x4 foot N scale layout inside of a coffee table that has a removable glass top and a 3D printed quite a few things for it. Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good size for a coffee table size layout. Let's see. Robert Goslin says, yeah, if Bachman would bring back the porters and the gas mechanicals, we'd all be happy. That's true. An awful lot of us would be happy if they bring those two back in particular. I really wish they would. They made 1 million of them, of the porters and the gas mechanicals, and that's why they were so cheap at first. But now they're like really, really, really hard to find. Paul Ulam is a porter hoarder. You're the one. You're the one I've been bidding against. You have 4, 2 rail trucks and a 260, no layout yet. Well, that's one way to get started, you know. Start just collecting rolling stock and stuff. How many porters do I have? I've got about 8 that are running, and then I've got a couple in boxes that are not running. Having just complained, I think you meant completed. Let's see, Jason. Having just completed the Gruesome Gulch, could you discuss your thoughts, likes, dislikes about the layout that you can fully circumnavigate versus a wall-mounted layout like Thunder Mesa? Well, Thunder Mesa is not part of its wall-mounted, but a huge part of it's freestanding. The central peninsula is all freestanding. I really like island-style layouts. I really like freestanding island-style layouts that you can walk all the way around. Personally, I find them more immersive to be able to move around and follow trains around from one side to the other as a viewer. And that's something I'm always thinking about. I know a lot of people don't necessarily think about that, but what I'm thinking about a lot is how is this thing experienced by the viewer? What angles are they looking at it from? Also, with an island style layout, you get a lot more scenic depth looking across than you do with something that's just a shelf along the wall with a backdrop behind it. And that's because of parallax, the way we experience distance visually. Things closer to us seem to move more quickly than things farther away. So you'll see this when you're driving on the freeway. You know, things closer to you are going really fast, things farther away, hardly moving, right? Well, that's parallax. The same thing is true when you look at a model railroad. When you look across, if it has a lot of scenic depth, the things closer to you will move more quickly as you walk by than the things further away. And you can't fake that. There's really, I mean, I guess if you had the volume like they have at Lucasfilm, you could fake that with LED screens. But anyway, most of us mortals can't fake that. So that's why I like actual scenic depth. So that's something I'm very happy with the Gruesome Gulch. The fact that it is an island layout and it's designed to be experienced in the round, more or less. One side of it is designed more or less to go up against the wall. It doesn't have to. That's the butt end down there. What would be the foot end of the coffin is kind of designed to go up against the wall. There's no real scenery down there. It's just but it doesn't have to. It could be right in the middle of a room. And it's cool to have it experienced from all sides. I like it. Let's see. Jim says, I think the captain built what a lot of us want to build. I've always wanted to lay out my living room. I've always wanted something like that, but rather than a coffee table layout, I've always wanted to build like a shelf layout, probably in Zscale or one of the scales that runs on 45 millimeter track, FN3, that goes around like the top of the room and has kind of just relief scenery. You know, stuff that's just shallow relief, but just goes around, you know, buildings and mountains and whatever, and maybe a bridge that goes over your head. I've always wanted to do something like that. That would be fun. Lindley is here. We were just talking about you, Lindley. Going, where's Lindley? You should be having dinner with us tonight. Glad to see you. It was great seeing you and talking with you out at Gary's place too. Let's see. Ryan Gallagher, I did a coffee table Tonopah and Tidewater. Wife finally won the battle and it was replaced. Oh, I'm sure there's a story there. She got what is basically a sit-stand coffee table for crafting, so it was a honorable defeat. As long as it was for another creative project. I tell I got some household credit for it too. That's awesome. Like the McDonald's in Buena Park. Yeah, like a lot of places, like the Emporium, or not the Emporium, the place that's by the Candy Palace on Main Street at Disneyland. Yeah, they've got a train around the top up there. Yeah, the one in Buena Park is really cool. Let's see. Yeah, Cal, you're waiting on the boxcars. They're coming. They're coming. It's more of a issue with the website than anything else. Tony Horton, Dave, you ought to make some Zscale window curtains for the passenger cars from a cloth print of Raleigh Crump's curtains on the wall behind the layout. I'm not sure that would read in Zscale. It might print just a little bit too small to read. I don't know. I did use that wallpaper pattern. It is inside of the Undertaker shop on the Thunder Mesa layout. It's on the back wall. So there's the wallpaper and the portraits, the scary portraits that Mark Davis did of the the screaming ghosts and stuff are on the wall in there. Not a bad idea. Let's see. Sam Fuller, I have a GFN3 around my living room and a poorly made truss bridge over my bar. I want one that brings me drinks. I'm building a Tiki Bar. I'm planning a Tiki Bar. Building very slowly on a Tiki Bar. And if you want to follow the non-progress, you can check out GP Tiki over on Instagram. That's my Tiki Bar related site for posting photos and stuff. And I thought about I have to negotiate with my wife on this. Is like to have a tropical themed Zscale layout that's indoor outdoor. Tropical theme, kind of like Bob Kerner's Typhoon Lagoon, but have it go to the bar and pick up drinks and then take them out to the patio. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Let's see. Yes, exactly, Jim. I started the Tiki Bar, and then summer came. I started in the fall. It was in the spring. We had a beautiful long spring. It was cool and breezy and really nice. So we were working the yard, getting the site all ready to build the Tiki Bar. Cleared it all out, and then it became 180,000 degrees for the rest of the summer. And now we got to go back out and clear some of the weeds out where we cleared it out and basically finish leveling the site so I can build the Tiki Shack that the bar itself is finished and sitting in my garage. I built a really cool Tiki Bar, but I don't have a building to put it in, so we're going to build a little shack out there. Anyway, that's a whole nother topic. My best friend has so much Tiki stuff. He's a hoarder. Does he sell any of it, like on eBay and stuff? I'm always looking for mugs and stuff like that. You saw a project for an animated parrot. If I can find it, I'll send it to you. That'd be cool. Garner Holt makes animated parrots, macaws, and cockatoos and stuff like that. Garner Holt is a former Imagineer who started his own company, and I was going to say country. Started his own company that specializes in. He's also a train guy, by the way. So respect. Started his own company doing animatronics, and now they do. Now most of the new animatronics you see in the parks, both at Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, any place, are built at Garner Holt, and he actually created a parrot that you can own, and it's fully programmable. And if you go to the Golden Tiki? Yeah, the Golden Tiki in Las Vegas, they have some of these Garner Holt parrots, but they're programmed to say absolutely obscene and obnoxious things. It's not like the Tiki Room. They're just cussing like sailors, which is just kind of hilarious. But you can program them to do anything, but they are not cheap. I haven't priced them, but I know that they're not cheap. Jim Manley, I was so impressed with Diamond Braverman's models in person at Gary's. I absolutely love the Pirate Shack. I know. I've been wanting to build a model of that Pirate Shack. I was going to put it over by the river over here. And I really liked his. He got the colors perfect. He's got the textures and the colors of it. The Pirates of the Caribbean Shack, where the old man's on the porch and the guy's in the back playing the banjo. Everybody thinks the old man plays the banjo. The old man is smoking his pipe. Someone is inside the shack playing the banjo. And that's so they didn't have to animate him playing a banjo. It was a cost-cutting measure. Does the parrot have Wally Bogue's voice? No, not the one of the Golden Tiki. I don't know who did the voice. Probably the owners did the voices, but it's not Wally Bogue going, yeah, doing all the different nationalities. Mike McCauley, I have a permanent G-Scale Christmas layout in my living room. Cool. Smallest possible radius dog bone and tunnels on the lower level and a short and upper level with automatic reversing. So it's on the floor, down on the carpet? Because that's what I think of when I think of Christmas layout. Or is it up on a table with like snow and Christmas buildings and stuff like that? I said it's Bob is like Beetlejuice. I said Tiki 3 times and he appeared. Hi, Bob. We were just talking about Tiki stuff and the Tiki birds that Garner Holtz sells. I think I sent you a link for those, and they're not cheap, but they have them at the Golden. Have you've been to the Golden Tiki in Vegas? They have them there, and they cuss a blue streak, which is hilarious. They say all kinds of really obscene, obnoxious things. On top of 2 VHS storage cabinets at top level is eye level. Awesome. Let's see, TGM 2018. When you go to do scenery, what is the first thing you should start with? I'm starting a layout of my own and was looking into what I should do next. Currently, have all the track work down. Thanks. I have several videos on doing scenery. Check out the entire Gruesome Gulch build. Check out, they usually have scenery in the title, building foam scenery. Most of my scenery is made from foam. I use mostly polystyrene foam and some polyurethane foam. The polystyrene foam is the pink stuff or blue stuff you can usually get at your local home center. The first thing I do is rough it in to make sure, to kind of mass it with layers of foam to make sure it's all right. But probably the best thing to look at would be the series I did on Calico, building Calico Mountain, which is down in the playlist down below. You'll see Calico. Check that out. And there's a couple of videos on building Calico Mountain from beginning to end, how I did the whole thing, starting with the layers of foam and then sculpt a mold on top of that, and then the paint and the coloring and the finish. It's all in there. So watch the videos. That's the best thing I can tell you. Been there. You need one of those parrots, but desire outweighs the wallet. Oh, gosh, I know what that's like. Hey there, Caleb. Sean, she forgot to ask you about how to add a Keep Alive to the 042040. We talked about that briefly. On the 042, there is a capacitor that is hidden up inside the sand dome, and you snip that off. And then there's a couple of places on that diagram. Sam Toller has that diagram that shows you where to solder on the leads for the KA2 or whatever Keep Alive you want to put on there. And so you just remove the capacitor, the stock capacitor, which is hidden up in the sand dome, and then you solder a new one, and then find a place to hide that. And the board is inside on the 040, not the 042. It's inside, right inside the cab on the fireman's side is where the board is located. So it's pretty easy to access. You just take the cab off and there it is. Robert Goslin, are you going to repair the Gruesome Gulch rail car before you sell the layout? No, but I will throw it in for free. If somebody wants it, I'll throw it in. Or I might keep it for the Thunder Mesa layout and then repair it. I haven't decided yet. But if somebody pays what I would like for the Gruesome Gulch layout, I'll say, here, you can have this too. And if somebody wants to repair it or replace the gears on it. Debbie Gibson, we are heading up the hill tomorrow to your open house. Cool, it'll be great to see you. Is it chilly up your way? 60s. It's not bad. I'm wearing a fleece because it was cold when I got in here. But it's 60. No, it's not chilly. It's 68 degrees outside right now, so not bad at all. You might want to bring a sweatshirt or something, because at night, at this time of year when the sun goes down, it does get a little chilly on the mountain. Excuse me, especially if it's windy, but it's supposed to be nice tomorrow. Excuse me, I need to drink water. So it shouldn't be bad. And it'll be great to see you. Thanks for coming. I have an appointment about a block from the Golden Tiki next week. You'll check it out. It is one of the great tiki bars. Definitely worth checking out. Caleb, I see that, and also, so when you're going to make a steam rail car for your layout? That's a good idea. You know, that's a project that's out there. I actually have. Hang on. Wait right there. I'll be right back. Show and tell. Probably showed you this before. Before I build a steam dummy rail car, which would be just a body on top of a porter, which would be pretty easy to do, I actually have a mini McKean rail car, which these are based on, Virginia and Truckee had one of these. And it's actually the right, whoa, what was that? Oh, the headlight. These are the right era for Thunder Mesa, right around turn of the century, 1910-ish. I have one of these. It runs on a Bachman trolley car drive unit, which I also have. I also have the decoder for it and everything. I just need to put it all. I have all the parts. I've collected all of the parts. I just need to build the whole thing, paint it, decal it, put it together. So this will be a project coming up, probably in the new year. McKean Rail Car. Got this from Mike Miller. Thank you, Mike. Can't wait to put this together. I haven't decided what color to paint it yet. I'm thinking green, like a dark green, like a Pullman green, but maybe not that dark, but kind of like the color of the cabs on some of the Thunder Mesa locomotives. Green with gold lettering. That looked pretty sharp, I think. Anyway, so this is actually a rail car that's period correct for Thunder Mesa, unlike the Galloping Goose, which is from the 1930s. So a little outside of, well, way outside, 20 some years outside of the era. Let me put this back. Please excuse my, Tim Clocks, please excuse my ignorance. Don't worry about it. But are there any small, oh, I lost your comment, it moved. But are there any small ON30 locomotives, diesel, that would work with a modern small ON30 layout? Yes, there actually are. In fact, that's an easy conversion. There's a center cab diesel, like a GE center cab diesel that you can get. Some of you diesel guys will know this better than I do. I don't know if they produced it in ON30 from Bachman, but they did do it in HO scale, and it's a really easy conversion to ON30. You just need a bigger cab. You could build a new cab out of styrene, and it would be an awesome little ON30 diesel locomotive. Look for like a center cab diesel in ON30 or HO scale that you can upscale to ON30. They're available from Bachman Trains. What's the latest on the Phantom Manor for the Thunder Mesa? Still in the planning process. I've got the plans. I've got some blueprints. I need to convert them into model plans, do some changes here and there, but yeah, it's still planning to go right there, over by the graveyard. Still going to happen. Not this year for Halloween. That might be. Last year I said that'll be next year's Halloween project when I was working on this. Now it's going to be 2024's Halloween project, more than likely. Burgundy. Yeah, that's a good color too, or like Tuscan red. There are small diesel kits you can buy, assembly required. Yes. A McKean named the Nautilus. Yeah, give it kind of a Harper Goff kind of feel. That would be cool. The Puerto Borracho is planning a McKean as well, but it will be a bit Bahaized. I can't wait to see it, Gary. That'll be awesome. Lynn McCurdy, Dave, you missed my comment earlier, but I just returned today from some little town called Cayucos. Oh, I love Cayucos. One of my favorite beach towns in California. Central Coast. Fantastic. I love that town. Yeah, the portholes on the V&T McKean do look like something out of Jules Verne. Absolutely. Jim Manley, yes. Mike McCauley, if you're on Facebook, there's a group called Model Railroad Videos. Absolutely right. And it's exactly for that kind of thing, Mike. If you want to post your videos on there, it's for all model railroading videos of all scales, all shapes and sizes, as long as it's model trains. Throw it up on there and we'd be thrilled to see it. It's Mount Blue. Yeah, Mount Blue makes kits for the small ON30 diesels. Yes, absolutely. Those McKean cars are from Mike Miller, Bob. Find him in the ON30 group on Facebook. That's he produces those. Yeah, they do look like that. Greg Gilbert says the little McKeans remind you of the ride vehicles at Tokyo Disney Sea, the underwater dark ride that's in Volcania. Yeah, the Jules Verne themed area. They do look a little bit like that. Samuel, Dave, what are your thoughts on the Adventures of Ichabod Crane and Mr. Toad? It's a Halloween tradition at my house. We have 2 Halloween traditions at my house, things that we watch every single year, or just put them on in the background because we memorize them and know them by heart. One is The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. The other is Young Frankenstein. You think it's really well done and underrated? Seems right up here. Yeah, it's wonderful. Ichabod, Ichabod Crane. How can you go wrong with Bing Crosby? You know, with a hi-ho and a clippity-clop, he's out looking for a head to swap. Great soundtrack. Come on. Yeah. Odds Bodkins, Gadzooks. Yeah, it's fantastic. I love it. It's one of my favorites. And the Mr. Toad one is great too. Though it's nothing like the ride. He doesn't end up in hell at the end of the movie like he does on the ride at Disneyland. Anyway, but Young Frankenstein. Oh God, don't get me started. We could start doing Young Frankenstein. Werewolf. There. What? Werewolf. Their castle. Yeah, it's hilarious. One of my, gosh, top 5 favorite movies of all time. Young Frankenstein. Just brilliant. Mel Brooks at his brilliant best. It's Frankenstein. Do you also say Frederick? What? No, it's Frederick. Frederick Frankenstein. Oh. They told me it was Igor. Well, they were wrong, weren't they? Oh my God. Yes, thank you, doctor. Elevate me. Right here? Now? Yes, raise the platform. Oh my God. See, you did it. You started it. Put the candle back. Okay, moving on. Oh, Sean, you're missing out. If you've only seen Young Frankenstein once a long time ago, you owe it to yourself. Find it on Netflix or Amazon or whatever. Get a copy, a CD, put it in there. It's great for a Halloween evening. You'll thank me later. It's hilariously funny. Okay, now it's nothing but Young Frankenstein quotes. Oh, God. Werewolf. Well, Otter Creek and Rio Grande, I'm glad you made it, even though you had a reminder set. I hope I didn't throw too many people off. Usually I do the live stream at 7, but it's getting dark so early now. I thought I'd do it at 6. I'm probably going to do it at 6 throughout the winter because the time change is coming up. It's going to screw everybody up. See, our time doesn't change in Arizona, but it changes in other places. So I stay the same, but everybody else's time changes with the daylight savings. But anyway, let's see. Your favorite movie of all time is The Princess Bride. Talk about another highly quotable movie. That's one that's always, yeah, at my house we're always quoting one of those. You know, Dodgeball, Office Space, Princess Bride, Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles. Those are some of the most quotable movies of all time. The Princess Bride, yes, as you wish. I was just talking with the landlords here about rodents of unusual size. But that's another story. You are the Brute Squad. Oh, gosh. Yes, Hocus Pocus is a good one. I'll approve them as soon as I get back over there, Mike, unless Jim or one of the other admins beats me to it. We're looking forward to seeing them. All right. Hey, that hour flew by. It is always such a great time chat with you guys. I really appreciate those of you that show up for the live streams and everybody else watching later on the replay. I really appreciate it. Any last minute questions before I go? Not movie quotes. We've done that. Anything else? The squirrels were married. Oh. Why does your T Clever? Why does your ON30 scale look so good compared to HO? Because it's bigger. ON30 photographs better. That's one of the reasons I'm modeling ON30. Plus, you know, I like highly detailed scenes, and so you can pack more detail into a larger scale. It's a 1/4 inch scale as opposed to 1/87, so you get, it's almost twice as big as far as the details and the structures and the people. So you can pack a lot more detail in it, and so the larger a model is, the better it's going to photograph and look, you know, more fun and realistic. Zscale looks even better. You know, if you're modeling that and do it well, it looks fantastic. That's basically it. Or as Robert says, ON30 is just better. Lynn McCurdy, there was a Thunder Mesa billboard on the HDMMRC last week. Yeah, I saw that. That's awesome. I love seeing that. Thank you. Yeah, just larger scales just work better visually. That's all. You can fit a lot more HO railroad into the same, you know, space as you can O scale, but yeah, if you model short line and narrow gauge, O scale, ON3, ON30 is the way to go, in my personal opinion. Some people really like SN3 too, but it is super expensive. So that's going to wrap it up, I think, for this live stream. Thank you all so much. We're getting probably be back on our normal regular schedule next month. Probably do a 3rd Wednesday live stream. I'll keep you all posted on that. Until then, you can follow on Instagram at thunder.mesa. The usual closing, the hoo-ha. See what's new on the Thunder Mesa Studio website, even though it hasn't been updated in a month and a half, at thundermesa.studio. And hey, I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for subscribing and watching and hanging out with me and talking trains and BSing and movies. And you're all great. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Keep moving forward. And I will see you all next time. Have a great night. And happy Halloween.